What up, what up, what up, what up? Peace to the planet. How y'all doing today? Today is Tuesday. It's 8:15 right now. More or less, you know, hope you guys had a great day. You know, it's about that time. Put the little kitties to bed. You know, everything shut down. You know how I do. Like I said, pop this in before you take it down. You dig? More or less, this is food for thoughts. Recipe 9. Let's get into it. Let's get into it, people. First off, I want to say this. Had a friend of mine, you know, who's a subscriber, you know, who supports me, whatever. Super dope, you know. They told me that, you know, when I'm talking to you guys, I do a lot of talking about myself. Okay, and I don't want this to be a place where I feel like I'm being self-centered and just being a person that mouth off about myself. You know, is that I'm trying to give you a story where I fit in, as well as trying to make you see what's going on in the world. See, 9 times out of 10, when I'm talking about the things that I'm talking about, they're coming from the inner side, that inner kid that was once inside of me, you know, screaming for somebody to help me. As far as, you know, a lot of you might not know. For those who know me, you know, I always kept it a buck. I didn't know how to read nor write for a long time, you know, until I was about 18, 19 years old when I learned how to read and write. And that's when I moved to Jersey. You understand? My baby sister had to teach me how to read. You know, so this is coming from a person, when I speak about these things, you know, I'm speaking for the lost kids that's out there, and I know they're possibly in the same situation depending on the environment they was raised in. So I don't never want to come on here and be braggadocious and never want to be, you know, be the one to make it seem like this is no, this is not one of those situations. Me, I could care less about, because I'm already a grown adult. I know I have to work and break my back for the rest of my life in order to get things done, you know? That's just the way I'm structured. That's how I am. I'm a hard worker. That's what I depend on. But I'm speaking for the kids that's out there that needs this type of guidance, that needs that type of support, that needs that type of structure, that needs that person who understands where they're coming from. So as the adult, and being you guys, or some of you guys might be kids, majority might be adults, I'm trying to let you know, for the simple fact, like I'm always saying this, like just because you put clothes on your kids' back and shoes on their feet doesn't mean that you're a good parent. You know, that's a small percentage of what your job title is. You know, you are a nurturer. You're a provider. You are a lover to them. You are a teacher to them. You know, you are a chef to them. You know, you are a person that takes them to school. You're a chauffeur to them. Like, you know, the category of a parent, you have so many layers when it comes to that. And, you know, very few people understand that, because, you know, some parents don't have the patience. They get tired, they get, you know, they get frustrated, and, you know, they're sometimes, you know, feeling like they need help, or they need support themselves, because a lot of times they're single parents raising 1 or 2, 3, 4 kids. And let me be the first one to say I envy that, because no parent should have to raise no kid by themselves. It should be parents, you know, man and woman in the household. I don't care if you guys don't get along or what have you, but when it comes to doing the job, that's something you both signed up for when y'all decided to do the damn thing. So a lot of times I put myself in situations because, you know, I'm giving an example. At the same time, if you listen, well, I'm giving you a sense of myself. You know, I'm putting myself out there because I'm not afraid to tell the truth, because, you know, for the simple fact, I want it to be known that there are many people out there that's like me. You know, many kids that are suffering, going through it, that are like me. And sometimes as parents, we don't ask those questions. How are you doing? Are you okay? What did you learn in school today? What did you eat? How was recess? Did anybody do this to you? Did anybody do that? Like, these questions have to be asked, and sometimes you have to pick the mind of your child, because 9 times out of 10, I'm telling you that a child sometimes is so afraid, you know, they're not speaking that in a voice because they are, 9 times out of 10 feel that they're gonna get in trouble, or something could have had been done to them where the person, whoever did something to them, tells them that they're gonna kill them, or they're gonna kill their mother or father. Like, you know, like, things out here are going on in this world, and this is why I tell you guys all the time, it's a war going on outside. Like, this is serious. This is not a game. And raising these kids is a full-time job. If you wasn't cut for the job, you should have thought about that before laying down and producing these kids. If we're going to do the adult, we're going to act like adults. But I don't want you to do the adult, and then when adult situations come about, you running away from your problems. Like, that child didn't ask to be here. And that's unfair to him or her. The nerve of you. If you wasn't prepared for that, you should have put on protection. Now you got a whole human being that needs to be raised, and you're purposely being selfish because you don't feel up to the job. Like, this is crazy. Think about it. How many kids are in shelters? How many kids are in foster homes? How many kids are being thrown out in the garbage? Abandoned. It's enough kids in this world that are being abandoned where you don't have to add to the problem. This is why I do this. And when I speak, you know, it's coming from a place where, you know, some of us choose to ignore and don't even think about some of these kids that's out here in this world. Imagine what they're going through on a day-to-day, because the human being that made them left them. And imagine what they're going through, knowing that nobody wants them. Like there's no love like a mother or a father's love for a child. And if you wasn't ready to be a mother or a father, you should have did what you had to do as far as putting on protection. Man, this is what I be talking about. Like, you know, I ask God all the time to help me because, you know, I think about things too much. I worry too much. I'm always looking at, you know, see what I can do. And I can't help that's the person I am. And I don't want to be here glorifying things that I do because I naturally am the person I am. That's not what this channel is for. I'm out here trying to talk to the ones that's on the other side of the screen to understand the urgency of protecting these kids out here so they could be fully equipped once they walk out that door. Like this world is going to keep on producing, and then they're going to keep on adding up to the point where, you know, it's unbearable. It has to change. It starts inside the house. If you took that route of being a parent, well, that entitles numerous and various things. And you need to woman up or man up to the task. It's not a game. These kids need to be properly educated. You understand? Not just send them to school. They need to be properly educated, knowing how to read and write fluently. That starts inside the house. Well before they even start going to school. Did you know your kid could start reading and writing by the age of 2 or 3 years old? No, some of us don't care. Some of us seem to want to distract the kid because you want to choose to watch your, you know, Housewives or whatever, or Love and Hip Hop or whatever, or, you know, watching the game, or you watching whatever. But that time could be spent educating your child while you have them in your presence. Every single day, you should be doing something with that child to challenge their intellect. These kids could start reading and writing by the age they can start at the age of 2. Believe it or not. So by the time they hit that 5 years old, and they're ready to go off to school, it ain't about going to school to trace over the letters or putting the puzzle together. We're talking about fluently knowing how to read, fluently knowing how to add and subtract, fluently learning the timetables. It can be done, but that's our job. Man, I tell y'all, man, it kills me, man. It kills me, especially from my community, seeing people of my ethnic group, you know, they don't take this so serious. Like, it baffles my mind. Education is the most important thing in the world. If you're not educating your child will not fully be equipped to know how to handle his or herself once they leave out the door. And when we're talking education, we're talking across the board. You teach these kids math. You teaching them writing. You put them in karate classes. You understand? Karate classes a must. I don't care who you are. You must provide that to them as you do math and reading, as you do food, as you bathe them. That is a must. Do you hear me? I don't care what it costs you. You figure it out. Stop buying them goddamn sneakers. Stop buying all them goddamn purses and weaves and all that. You figure it out. That's your job. Once you decided to have a child, you no longer have a life. Your life now is to be a full-time teacher. I tell you, man, this world that we live in, like, you gotta understand how prepared you have to be. Technology is getting more advanced by the day. You know, kids are being millionaires overnight. The opportunities are endless for your child. If you're not getting them in the game early, they will be on the bench. I mean, a bench inside of a cell. Because if they don't fundamentally challenge their mind and have that thirst for it at such a young age, so when that time they hit adults, you know, they're well equipped to go into any field that they choose to go to. Moving right along. Man, we find out who the killer of my brother Nipsey Hussle. We have identified the killer. He's still at large, but now we know who we're dealing with. We know what kind of cockroach we're dealing with. And of course, I figured it. I knew it was one of our own. Sad to say, but I knew it was one of our own. That man hates himself. Therefore, he hated Nipsey. He didn't have no love for himself. When he see himself, he didn't see Nipsey at the same time. Because that man should be a reflection of you, the work that he was trying to do. The love that he had for his community and the people that he was trying to, you know, uplift from the neighborhood you and me come from. I was watching this post by a cat named Daylight. I believe he signed to Drake's label or whatever. I'm not sure, but, you know, but I know him and Drake has something, you know, as far as the deal, I could care less, but first off, let me be honest. I honestly thought he was some type of weirdo or what have you, you know, and I definitely have a newfound level of respect for homie. Because he must have did that that live the day actually Nipsey got shot. And I actually, like I said, I was in church, so I was so out of the loop with a lot of things, you know. And it just gradually was coming to me until today. Even till today, there's so much I was learning about the brother. You know what's funny? Like, I would listen to this man's music, and you would listen to his music. If you have an ear for music, and you really, you know, you have a sense of feel that there is something about this individual. If you really listen. You understand? But long story short, this cat Daylight had a post for Nipsey, and he must have went ranting for like an hour. And after watching that post, man, I tell you, do you hear me? It felt like Nipsey was right in the line to me now. The way he talked about him. He goes right up there with Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Harriet Tubman, Tupac. You know what I'm saying? Very few people, you know, you die. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. You haven't done enough. Or some of us are just so busy living for self. You know, maybe that's why, you know, things are going the way they're going for you. I'm not to be the one to judge, but I'm just putting that in the atmosphere. Especially in the black community, we have certain ways about it. It's like a lot of us are so selfish. We're only out for self. But anyway, the brother Daylight, man, shed a whole new found light for me as far as looking at the brother Nipsey. He went into first off, first thing he went into, he was like, he was just so disturbed by it. Like, Nipsey? He's like, that brother had a different light about him. He was reincarnated from some whole nother spirit. The type of person he was since a little kid. You understand? Like, he was one of those that can go into any neighborhood, no matter what color he was on. He was reaching brothers and sisters from different sides of the track out there in the West, where, you know, it was unheard of. And he had so much ties as far as brotherhood and sisterhood ties. You understand? Not no monkey mob ties. Trying to make us look like, you know, that's all we about. Like, this man had a brotherhood. You understand? When you say brotherhood, it's a different type of love there. Sisterhood, it's a different type of love there. And this is the type of being this man was. You understand? I'm hearing since kid, Daylight was saying that he was the type to be on the intercom. If you guys remember when they made those bonus announcements over the intercom, he would somehow find that intercom and get to the intercom and tell them, come on, guys, get to class. You know, early in the morning, let's get to it. Let's get to class. All right? Like, this is the type of brother he was. And the way that the brother Daylight spoke of him, like, you could tell that he looked at him. He's probably older than Nipsey, boy. They're probably the same age, but he looked up to Nipsey. Nipsey was the type of brother, you know, who always wanted to uplift the community. Education. having businesses, teaching brothers and sisters their self-worth. You understand? I love hearing that type of stuff. And one thing that hit me, he said, you know, the cat, Jay Prince down there in Houston, he said, you made the brothers in New York go after Almighty's chain and made mob ties around the world. Send out to retrieve that chain. And he asked one question that hit me like a ton of bricks. He was like, where is this energy, that same energy you quote unquote mob ties? Where is that same energy, you understand? A 54-year-old man talking about mob ties. Putting that type of energy into the atmosphere to understand, you understand, to teach young brothers that this is what you are, talking that talk, tough Tony talk at 54 years old. But where are you when this George Zimmerman's walking around freely? Sandra Bland's are getting gunned down. The Sean Bells are being gunned down. He said, where are these people? He said, have you ever noticed when any of these circumstances come about, these people are nowhere to be found. But yet you want to glorify these people. I know y'all Texas boys or y'all South boys got a different type of love for that man. If he's down there, he's feeding, he's providing jobs, I totally respect that. But one thing that made me finally, you know, acknowledge him when I first heard about him, he said, you know, he was on an interview. They asked him, at this point in your life, what is it that you look forward to achieving? You know, because he got businesses, he got cattle farms, he got, you know, he done did it. But he said one thing that hit me, and I had a level of respect for him, you know, until this point. He said, at this point, he's trying to get closer to God. I was like, God damn. Now, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm interested in knowing who this man is. The Drake situation came about. I didn't like how he executed that. He has a way of talking. When he talks, you know, he belittles people. You know, a lot of people are not reading to the words. Like, these are grown men and women. It's a level of respect we must have for one another. I don't care how much money you have. And with all that money and you trying to get closer to God, that's more of a reason to be a certain type of role model. For these kids could look at you and have a whole different level of respect. Not talking about no mob ties. We're talking about brotherhood ties. We're talking about trying to influence our youth and make them be thinkers, not followers. The kid that was signed under you, I'm hearing and seeing him, all his videos, he's talking that tough Tony talk. Holding all types of guns and ammo in his hand, promoting that violence. But when he get addressed with it, oh, now it's an issue. You understand? If you was the man that you were supposed to be in the position that you are, you should not be allowing these young ones. He's what, 16, 17, 18? I say the most 21. You should not be allowing that to be put into the atmosphere. So when situations come about like that, you know, I'm pretty sure it's going to be addressed differently. Because he's being respectful. He's trying to talk to the youth on a whole different level. And it'll be more received being that he's their age. But you allowing this young cat to be promoting that violence. You understand? But he don't even know how to fight. This is what I'm talking about, man. When you're in a position of power, you got to understand you have a whole different level of responsibility you must obtain. Walking around here like you know what I'm saying? For what? You still trying to be tough when you should be a teacher? Like, you's a clown, bro. You 54 years old. You should be having seminars with a bunch of kids. See, when I go about talking about things, I don't want it to be about me. So I'm about to tell y'all a story right now because situations like this in my life, I remember these things and they give me a whole different level of respect for certain people. I don't know if you people ever heard of the guy named Pee Wee Kirtland, a dude from Harlem who was an ex-drug dealer who had the opportunity of going to the NBA but chose not to. Playground legend. When I lived in Harlem, he had this program called School of Skills. Every Sunday, he would fill up the gymnasium in Riverbank State Park in Harlem. Boys and girls throughout the whole 5 boroughs of New York, some probably outside of the borough, would come to this gymnasium in Harlem and he would have conversations with us. He had all different types of ex-cons, this, that, and the third, who's changed their life around and who would talk to us trying to prevent us from going down these paths. One thing would always register with Pee Wee Kirtland, that he would always tell us, I'll never forget it. He would always tell us about these rappers, that they're not those person they perceive to be. He would always tell us, learn from it. He would say, learn something from it, but don't become it. These cats like him or the P. Diddy's or what have you. You understand? They're not doing the job they're supposed to be doing. To me. They have different things about them. Jay Prince, he still want to be a mobster. P. Diddy, he more like a showboat. He always want to be seen. Like, bro, you got all the money in the world. Who cares about what you have on or what you doing? You need to be teaching these kids, you understand? And providing these kids with education, programs, math and reading programs throughout all these inner cities of the United States. You guys proclaim to have all this money. Why are we not setting up math programs, reading programs, technology programs in these different communities so we can have these inner city kids having a place to go once they leave school for about an hour or two? You guys should be having this type of money being put together where you establish these type of these organizations to have these inner city kids have them a place where they can go so they can go from school to school. A lot of the times, the reasons they're ending up in these situations, they have too much time in their hand. Parents don't have the money to send them to after-school programs or karate, like I say. You understand? These are the type of things you brothers should be trying to set up for these kids in these communities. But y'all want to be talking tough over the internet. Like, how old are you? It sickens me to my stomach, man, sometimes, when I'm seeing grown adults acting like kids. tell you, man. Tell you people all the time, man. You know, it's a war going on outside. You need to get your kids prepared. I want to say once again, my condolences sent out to my brother Nipsey Hussle. From your mother down to your kids, nephews, cousins, aunts, uncles, grandma, brother, sister, your queen, your whole entire existence, their friends, their families, his fans. My love goes out to all of you guys. This one right here definitely hurts. As I'm riding along, listening to the brother Daylight, explaining and just painting a picture of this brother Nipsey Hussle, on my grandmama, I had to pull over. I'm breaking down like a fraction, bro. Crying. Full-blown boogers and everything. You understand? Because we lost another good one. This man was just set to go meet with the police department of Los Angeles to figure out, to bridge the gap with this gun violence. Do you hear me, people? But yet others want to promote it. And those who are in lead or who is in control is allowing it to be promoted. One thing that the brother Daylight said, he said he don't want to be around no more tough guys. He don't want to be around no more gangsters. He don't want to be around no more G's, no more real ends, no more, you know what I'm saying? None of that. Like the man said he wish he could have a nuclear bomb and drop over Los Angeles. It blew my mind how much pain there was in this man's heart. For the brother, because the brother has such a tunnel vision of what he wanted for his people. And this goddamn roach, self-hating mother, you understand? Come take him out. And all of a sudden, they want to scream mental health. I'm tired of people screaming that mental health thing. I used to work with those type of people. To me, that's a disrespect. Those people got to be clean. They got to be fed. They got to be well taken care of. You grown adults with 2 arms, 2 legs, fully understand the difference between right and wrong. To talk about you got mental health. The Kool Kardashians of the world. The Kanye Kool Kardashians. Screaming mental health. That's disrespected. I'm tired of you people, man, infecting our planet with this poison. And all these kids is out here just taking it all in. Tell you guys gotta pray, man. When y'all pray, y'all gotta pray hard. Y'all gotta pray hard, man. The power of prayer is such an amazing thing, bro. Like, I just learned how to pray for myself this year. Like, you know, I joined the church 2 years ago, but I just learned fully how to pray. I'm praying, I'm fasting, you understand? I'm trying to get so close to God like I'm in his shadow. The power of prayer is a beautiful thing. Teach your kids how to pray. And when I say pray, well, I'm not talking about praying over no meal. Pray for the simple fact that you got up today. Pray for the simple fact that you need God in order to breathe. We must instill these type of principles and understanding into our kids so they can have that brain to use it for the greater good, as opposed to having somebody influence them to manipulate their minds. It's been a rough week, man. This thing is crazy. You know, we still haven't heard the end of it. Like it's like every day that goes by, you know, it seems like I'm getting closer and closer to this brother. The plans that he had set for the community, man, is like, yo, he's took Pac job to like right here. Pac was right here. He took Pac's job to like right here. You understand? A whole different level. At 33 years old, bro. Like, that's sad on so many levels. We must understand that we're here for a certain period of time, people. We're here for a certain period of time. When you understand that when you're here, the more you start thinking about your brother or your sister, blood related or not, the more you will seem to see that your blessings will be fulfilled. Learn to pray and ask God to come into your heart, come into your mind, your spirit, your body. What I always say, it's a war going on outside. No man, no woman, no child is safe. We must be fully equipped of understanding when we walk out the door, we must be prepared for all things. Food thought of the day is, you want to live right, you must get right. Get right with God. Get right with how we eat. Get right with how we live. Get right with our own body. Exercise, people. Like, trust me, it's gonna change your life for the better. I've been fat so goddamn long. Like, I look forward now. I love going to the gym. Every day I'm in the gym. I'm not caring about losing weight. I'm not caring about, you know, trying to get my body to this, that, and the third. I'm physically getting my body prepared and trained for every day. Whatever comes along, I'm fully prepared for it. Physically ready to take on any task. And it makes my day so much better. You feel good. Stop feeding our kids this poison out here. All this fast food, McDonald's, all this Chinese food. Like, no. This is food for thoughts. Recipe 8. Or recipe 9. guys, please say your prayers. It's your boy signing out. Peace. Cheer.